Hello, I'm Hope Jacobs, and welcome to my video about my autobiography of falling in love with reading and writing. I've always had the belief that it's important that things like good quality literacy skills are taught in order for people to have things like good critical thinking skills, since I believe that both skill sets are rooted in one another. With the rise in technology, we could potentially have a literacy crisis in people not being able to read or write very well, if at all. This could be a potential problem due to it being able to enable things like misinformation, disinformation, and propaganda to be spread far more easily than they should be. I believe in the importance of both STEM and good literacy skills. They both go hand in hand. A person having high literacy skills helps them being able to read in between the lines with the style of how something was written. And this could help people further preserve information that's needed to help things like engineering or math. This reasoning and belief is important to my literacy and my morals. Being a strong reader helps set up a person for success for all the reasons I've explained in my prior paragraph and more. Having a high literacy reading level helps a person get enjoyment out of life while being able to enjoy something as small as writing is a small way for one to access entertainment and joy for the small price of a book. The topic of literacy and strong literacy skills are important to me due to my love for reading and writing, on top of having struggled to learn to do both as a child. I grew up in special education, not being diagnosed with ADHD until my junior year of high school. Learning to read and write at all, but especially strongly, was a struggle. However, eventually having learned both to read and write well helped me grow as an adult with my critical thinking skills, as well as being able to interpret things through reading in between the lines. On top of that, I loved reading about different parts of the world and different histories, and especially reading fantasy books that allowed me to escape reality to go on fantastical adventures and worlds that were created in the snap of someone's fingers that didn't have to apply logic. Some of my favorite childhood stories were the Harry Potter series, the Hunger Games series, the Nancy Drew series, and in early elementary I loved the Magic Treehouse books. The thing with me is that the two reasons I love reading and writing are to first learn new information, and secondly, escape into a fictional world that's different than reality. Reading and writing are entirely being able to learn to improve your skills and knowledge, on top of being able to travel to new places in the comforts of your own home. To be specific, one book that was my favorite as a child was The Night of the Ninja book, which is the 5th book in the Magic Treehouse series. As a child, I was obsessed with ancient Asia and loved reading about ninjas. So where I loved the series as a whole, I specifically liked this one due to how it incorporated ninjas in ancient Asia. I love this series as a binge reader due to how I thought I looked like Annie, one of the main characters, and how the series let me join their journeys and adventures that they went on throughout our country and the globe. Also, I liked the illustration style of the book as well. They were intricate, but also unique compared to other books that I read as a child. In addition to that, I remember as a toddler, a picture book series that I loved was the Macduff Terrier books that followed a couple that owned a Westie Terrier that went on miscellaneous adventures. I first loved the book because I'm an animal lover who was allergic to dogs as a kid, and I loved the art illustration style that the author used due to how it was just cute in that vintage retro sort of way. If I were to recommend books for a young child to read, I would recommend the Magic Treehouse books or the Diary of the Wimpy Kid books. The Magic Treehouse books allows the reader to experience the adventure of the main characters as they travel the world throughout time. Secondly, the Diary of the Wimpy Kid books, those are graphic novels where the kid reads a full-length novel, but it's easier for them because they have the illustrations in the book themselves. So quite literally, they can match the sentence or the situation written on the page with the scene that's illustrated. To move on to my last topic, I want to talk about why I love to read and write so much. The idea of being able to escape reality, to go to a world, to experience the adventure of the main character has always been a lure. Writing stories have always been a fun hobby of mine. When I was a kid, I used to change the plot lines of books, shows, and movies to what I preferred, or just create a character that was my age to self-insert into the plot line. I think that I've grown as both a reader and a writer because I'm good at reading critically to interpret what a character means and what they say or don't say. The expression of less is more is perfect for a book. Sometimes how you say a sentence with your tone or choice of words, or even what you don't say, influences what you mean when you talk. This reasoning alone is probably what a lot of people try to point out when talking about the literacy crisis some people struggle with when they try to read at their own age level. If I write something, this idea of being creative when writing a character's choice of words, tone point, or even delivering a certain meaning or message in what they do or don't say would always be my priority when writing. My first influences when learning how to read and write were my teachers. I struggled with reading and writing as a kid. My two special ed teachers never gave up on me. They forced me to read and write until I cried because they knew I could do it and they knew that I loved hearing stories. They forced me to learn until I realized that I could find the stories all on my own. If it weren't for them, I probably would not have made it to get into college at all, which wouldn't have helped me get into my master's program. When I write something, I first write down an outline and a to-do list. I organize what I have to write and say. Then I organize and write down what I want to write or say in a story when I write something. Thanks for watching this video. I'm Hope Jacobs.